What's up guys, it's your boy Java Monkey J, and today we're talking all about the perfect comp for pre-made Warsong Gulch so that you can farm out your honor and rep quickly and easily. I unfortunately played too many hours in Warsong Gulch with way too many games, and I currently just hit revered mostly doing Warsong Gulch with about 32k honor and about 1k honorable kills, and I have played way too much. However, with that much game time and with recently giving one of the top Warsong Gulch teams a run for their money, I think I have decent insight into what makes a good Warsong Gulch composition and why the composition is good. So let's get into talking about the current Warsong Gulch meta for Season of Discovery. To understand why the composition is built the way it is, you first need to understand Warsong Gulch. Warsong Gulch is a team-based battleground where you and 9 other teammates are pitted against 10 players of the opposite faction. It is each team's goal to capture a flag at the enemy base and return that flag back to your base. Simple concept, easy to understand, but there is some nuance. Being that players currently are only level 25 and that movement abilities are highly limited right now, an interesting meta has developed. That meta revolves around positioning and speed. And the reason for that is no one can move quickly. There are a very limited amount of mobility abilities. So if the flag carrier crosses the midfield, for example, and you have no characters close to them, it's almost impossible to catch back up to that person because there are no mounts. And for a lot of characters, they strictly move at the base run speed. They don't have as many options to increase their mobility. And so for this reason, characters that do have movement are incredibly valuable, especially so if that movement is not on a cooldown. Because of this reason, you will never find a serious pre-made that isn't taking at least one hunter and one feral druid, because both of these classes have huge movement abilities that are constantly active. Hunters have Aspect of the Cheetah, which increases their movement by 30%. Not only that, but hunters also do insane amounts of damage. And feral druids have Feline Swiftness that increases their movement speed in cat form by 30% while they are outdoors. This makes both of these characters amazing flag runners and great characters to chase people down, and an absolute staple in your Warsong Gulch pre-made. Combining this movement with hunters' insane range, really strong damage, and crazy powerful pet, there's almost no better class to run down flag carriers as they cross through mid than hunters. And for druids, their ability to shapeshift out of slows while maintaining heals on themselves, their cat form quickness, and not to mention the fact that they bring an insane party buff, they make the best flag carriers right now. At least one hunter and one druid are currently mandatory in the meta just for their speed alone. And while mages have blink and rogues have sprint, these cooldowns don't make them 100% mandatory in team comps. Because while speed and movement are valuable, because of the lack of speed abilities across other classes in the game, healing is absolutely critical. Because when your team is inevitably in a bad position in a team fight, you need a strong healer to help carry the win. And currently there is no stronger healer than a priest. In fact, priest is so strong, it's actually ideal to bring 2 of them. Priest is so impactful with power ward shield, penance, and prayer of mending that without maintaining some sort of CC on them consistently, they can easily turn a team fight. Penance healing is so strong and will often full heal targets seemingly instantly. Power ward shield instantly absorbs a massive amount of damage and can be the difference between the player having enough time to react and just straight up dying. And then there's prayer of mending, which is a smart heal that carries team fights by automatically healing people that take damage. Priest is an incredibly strong healer, and it's almost always recommended to run 2 priests to heal. And there's even rumors that running a 3 healing priest comp will be the best composition possible, which just goes to show you how powerful priest is.
Y'all motherfuckers ain't ready.
So we've gone over sort of the super required picks to making a really good Warsong Gulch pre-made, but now I'm going to cover the sort of mid-tier picks. So after filling out hunter, feral druid, and 2 disc priests, you could make a lot of the in-between kind of work depending on player skill, tactics, communication, and experience. Saying that, let's start by addressing the front line of the composition. You are going to want some tanky classes to lead clashes and team fights, and currently the best duo for this is Warrior and Ret Paladin. Warriors and Ret Paladins do really good damage, have high burst potential, and mostly they both bring a lot of utility. Warriors have Warbringer, which makes them pretty mobile in a team fight and helps them switch and engage to different targets quickly. They also have Hamstring, which they will be casting pretty much on cooldown in attempts to slow and focus down targets quickly. You wouldn't necessarily run more than one warrior, but you could, and it wouldn't be terrible. But for the purpose of this guide, I'm saying the recommended amount of warriors is 1. Ret Paladins, on the other hand, oh my god. Ret Paladin is not only insanely tanky, but Ret Paladin's burst is second to none. A geared Ret Paladin will almost two-shot a squishy target. Crusader Strike along with Divine Storm hits extremely hard, not to mention their utility in the form of their hand abilities as well as Paladin buffs. A Ret is huge in Warsong Gulch, and you can definitely take 2 Rets and not bat an eye. Another possibility is Shaman for a frontliner, but to be honest, Shamans are kind of in a weird spot. They're very tanky, they have good interrupts and good utility, but 90% of the time when you see a Shaman, unless he's hard casting Lava Burst, he's not really scary. He's just kind of annoying. Their heals also don't seem to be incredibly strong at the moment, and so I'm not entirely sold on them right now. They even have Ghost Wolf, which gives them good movement, but even despite that, I don't know, man. I'm out on Shamans right now. You could run one and it would probably be fine in any role that they fill, but there's just better options to fill a similar niche. However, I do play Alliance, so tell me if I'm cooked in the comments below. Another great class that you'd be happy to take, but definitely don't want to take more than one, is Rogue. Rogue is an extremely good burst damage DPS with great utility, and like all versions of WoW, Rogue is just good. Their major problem is their lack of movement with stealth, and so rogues in particular have to have good understanding of positioning, as they can get caught out quickly or can miss key opportunities if they don't have the game knowledge to position themselves properly in a team fight. Taking more than one rogue feels pretty bad, but having a good rogue on your team will always be a big W. Moving on to ranged DPS, there are 2 outliers in PvP currently, which are AF Warlock and Mage. Unless you've been living under a rock, maybe you don't know, AF Warlock is absolutely insane. Healing, damage, sustain, CC, Warlock does it all. Run 1 Warlock, run 2, run 10. Warlocks are BIS. Then we have Mage. Mage is a great option due to their versatility and CC. They can go Frost Spec and Kite Melee very well. They can go Fire Spec and Living Bomb casual gamers to oblivion, or they can go Arcane and free cast big pumper damage, and all of these specs can weave polys to CC key targets like priests. Mages are another class that you aren't exactly excited to have 2 of, but it's not the worst thing possible. So after all of that, we land on this as the optimal comp, with one sort of free slot which can be filled with any of these classes right here. And here's the list of classes that I wouldn't take in the free spot. Really quickly, I'll run my reasoning. Balance does okay damage and okay healing, but there are better options for both. Arcane healing is troll compared to priests. Prot paladins are not the prot paladins of retail. Holy paladin, I guess you could make an argument to actually run a holy paladin over a priest, but like, priests are so powerful, if you can choose 2, you should always go with 2 priests. And shadow priests, I've maybe met like 2 shadow priests in Warsong Gulch. They don't seem to be very good. And again, an extra rogue for me seems a little troll, unless that rogue is very, very skilled. And so there we have it. Of course, this isn't 100% set in stone. The meta is ever changing. But this should be a great comp for most people to take in and to have a good chance of winning Warsong Gulch, specifically in a pre-made. Obviously, you still need the gear, you also need strategy to execute a win, but this is a great start to a comp. Remember to leave a comment below if you enjoyed, and please like and subscribe for more. I've been Java Monkey J. Peace.